Welcome to my paint swatching video where I'm just going to swatch out a few of my collection of watercolours that I have been collecting over the years, and some have been given to me as well, so I'm not reviewing them, I'm just having a look and seeing how they look side by side, a few comparisons and adding a bit of information as well. So I hope you'll find it interesting. So I'm going to start with the Nickel Titanate Yellow by De La Rowney. And it's a really pale lemon yellow with a greeny undertone. And Nickel Titanate is quite an opaque pigment. But it has excellent light fastness. Clean pigment. You can mix it with a burnt sienna or similar to make a Naples yellow. Yes, it's a nice pale primrosy yellow, but yeah, on the opaque side. Next door we've got a Sennelier Cadmium Lemon. Again, a rather opaque colour, being a cadmium, but it's a very, very bright lemon yellow. I do tend to not use the cadmiums often, as because they are generally opaque and the toxicity concerns, and there's plenty of alternatives, but they do have excellent light fast ratings and they are lovely deep toned colours and rich colours. Sorry, there's that glare there. And next we've got another Sennelier, this time lemon yellow, so it's very similar to the cadmium, very bright with the greeny undertone. Oh, and Sennelier, they use a honey additive in their paints, and this makes them easier to re-wet and quite smooth, and it also acts as a preservative. The honey is constantly taking moisture from the atmosphere, and that keeps the paints relatively moist on the palette, so they can be a little bit sticky, so that's something to bear in mind. But it's also known as Hansa Yellow Light in other brands, but the light fast rating isn't as good, as it can darken when exposed to the light. Next we've got Winsor Lemon by Winsor Newton, another bright lemon yellow with a greeny undertone. This one has a better light fast rating than the PY3. So it's also part of the Hansa range of paints, which are modern synthetic organic pigments. And PY151 this is by M. Graham, Azo Yellow. This is a really bright yellow, and like with Senneliers, M. Grahams have a honey binder in their paints, so easy to re-wet, quite sticky on the palette. And M. Grahams is a very highly pigmented brand of paint, And this is a lovely colour, semi-transparent. And yes, we're coming into the primary yellows now. It's a little bit warmer. Yeah, buttercups and daffodils. Then next door we've got the Schminker version of this pigment, and it's called Aureolin Modern. And the Aureolin, which I don't have, is also known as Cobalt Yellow, and it's PY40. And this one has a much higher light fast rating than the Aureolin, which is, it does fade in the light, or actually it darkens or bronzes and changes colour in the light, so not very good for framed artworks. But in a sketchbook or for reproductions, Aureolin original pigment is absolutely fine. But there is this alternative here. Winsor Yellow is another Hansa paint. And it's a nice mid-yellow, what I would call primary yellow really. Semi-transparent. Quite staining. All of these yellows are quite staining really. This one does have excellent light fastness as well. Next to that we have Daniel Smith's Hansa Yellow Medium. Again in this same group of modern organic synthetics. So bright that is. It's a lovely mid-yellow. Semi-transparent there. And then we're going to go on to Winsor Newton's Transparent Yellow, which, as the name suggests, is highly transparent. It's good for glazing. And it's a lovely, lively colour. It's a deep dullish yellow, much warmer. But it does fade out to really bright yellow tints. But there you can see it's much warmer in the mass tone. Really nice lively colour. And I like mixing greens. But all these lemony yellows are brilliant for mixing the bright yellow greens of spring. So they just don't have any red in them. But then these ones create a more natural green mix. Now we're going to compare it to the Daniel Smith Nickel Azo. Same pigment there. Oops. Quite thick there, but you can see how deep yellow that is, how rich that is, and then it tints out to the bright yellow. There. It does look a lot deeper than the Winsor. Let's see if I can get that one darker. But this one does darken up too. But they are quite similar, being the same pigment, obviously. There. a lovely pigment. Next to that, we've got Winsor Newton's New Gamboge, and this is their new formula. Also has this pigment in, but with the addition of a quin red or quinacridone red. But it's very similar to these colours here, tinting out yellow, just that little bit richer and warmer and slightly redder. There, semi-transparent. Yes, so that's their new formula, and the new Gamboges are made to resemble the old very toxic pigment that was made from a tree resin. Yeah. And then next to that I've got a cadmium yellow, and like all the cadmiums, I hardly ever use it, but it's been there for about 15 years, and you can see it's quite opaque, but it is a very bright, rich and intense yellow, and it does become more transparent in the tints obviously there. And it's the mixture of the lemon, cadmium lemon, and cadmium orange, which I don't have. And it's really sunshiny, rich yellow, and the only time I think I ever use it really is by those little spots of pollen on petals. And now we can see Daniel Smith's New Gamboge as a comparison. It's much, much warmer. And you can see it's got the hands a yellow medium in there. It is a lovely, rich, luminous colour, but very different to the Winsor Newton New Gamboge. And transparent. And then I've got a little bit of the old formula of Winsor Newton's New Gamboge. The old formula. This has now been discontinued, and I do like this pigment. It's lovely and warm. Mildly staining, semi-transparent. Nice lively colour, I think. And then we're going on to Winsor Newton's Indian yellow now. Quite a similar colour. This one is very transparent, so it's great for glazing. And it's said to closely resemble the original Indian yellow pigment, which was made from the urine of cows that were fed on mango leaves. So, yeah. But now made with these two pigments, one of them being Winsor orange. But there you go, it's a nice, vibrant, warm yellow. And last of these yellows here, we've got Winsor Yellow Deep, which is also known as Hansa Yellow Deep. It's quite a deep, rich, very warm yellow. quite flat, I think. Not as lively as some of these other pigments. It's semi-transparent, but really see we're coming into the very warm range of yellows now. So there we are, that's the yellows. I hope it was interesting, and look out for part 2 when I'll go into the orangey reds and scarlets. And bye for now.